Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. Bon après-midi tout le monde. Let's get going with some of our numbers. I've got a lot to report today, and so essentially, you know that in the province today, we're up to 2,578 cases from the previous day, and that is actually a bit of a decrease from what we've been seeing in the 3,000 range. Donc, on est rendu à, on a ajouté 2578 cas en Ontario en total, et ceci est un peu plus bas que la moyenne qu'on avait. On était dans les 3,000 à peu près. Toujours encore Toronto, Peel, men. Again, leading the way, Toronto, Peel, GTA area. Ottawa had 92. Ottawa avait 92. In our region, again, we're seeing an uptick in our cases once again. However, just going to be sharing with you some of the numbers. Sorry. So we've added. Actually, over the weekend, we added 98 cases, 44 in Cornwall, 34 in SDNG, and 20 in Prescott-Russell. Donc, on a ajouté 44 à Cornwall, 34 à SDNG, 20 à Prescott-Russell. Donc, en total, 48. Je peux vous dire que celle-là de Cornwall, au moins la moitié étaient des quelques flambées que nous avons actuellement. At least half of the cases were through some outbreaks that we've had in Cornwall, if not more. And so the other ones, again, we continue to add. You can see basically that we had 2 more deaths that we've added. Tragically, one from Glenstore Don Lodge, and the other one was from the Lancaster home as well. I'll talk a bit about those a bit later. Donc, on a ajouté 2 décès depuis la dernière fois. Une était à Lancaster, la maison de Lancaster, et l'autre était de Glenstore Don Lodge, tragiquement. We have 31 patients hospitalized right now. On a 31 patients hospitalisés actuellement. Donc, nous avons plus que la moitié à l'hôpital de Cornwall. More than half the cases are in Cornwall, including 2 in the ICU, ranging from 51 to quite older, 101. And we also have 4 residents from the long-term care facility there as well. The remainder are, we've got 4, actually we've got 4 in Ottawa. We've got 4 at the Hawkesbury General and another 2 at the Winchester. Donc, nous avons, les restants sont, on a 2 soins intensifs au Cornwall. Nous avons 4 patients hospitalisés à Ottawa, 4 à Hawkesbury, 2 à Winchester. So these are the numbers that we have moving forward. If we look at our outbreaks again, the majority of it, we had 16 outbreaks, and the majority of which are obviously in long-term care, and I will be talking a bit about that a bit later. I just wanted to, donc on a 16 flambées. La plupart sont dans la maison de longue durée, incluant une maison de groupe à Riverview Manor. The Riverview Manor Congregate Living is also another outbreak that we have. I just want to talk a bit about the rolling average. Je vais juste parler un petit peu de la moyenne qu'on voit. So you could see that, overall the health unit itself is the dark orange is actually going downwards in terms of the number of cases that we're seeing per 7 days per 100,000 people. Obviously, the Cornwall numbers are quite high, but there too we're seeing a downward trend and a bit of a stabilization here. So again, this. I would, if it wasn't for the outbreaks, and again, we've had one home has had, the Riverview Manor has had at least 17 positive cases, and we've got a couple of clusters of 5 or 6 cases in there as well. So if it wasn't for those outbreaks, we would be, downwards. But again, it's reassuring that we're seeing a trend here that's leveling off, and we can see an overall downward trend for all of them. So let's hope that we can move forward in that direction. Donc, juste pour vous démontrer la moyenne de 7 jours par 100 000, vous voyez comment Cornwall, on commence à voir un plafonnement. Moi, je pense qu'il faut dire aussi que pour mieux comprendre les chiffres à Cornwall, il s'agit on a quelques flambées qui rajoutent à ça. C'est pas tous les cas individuels. En effet, c'est des flambées que nous avons. Mais même à ça, on voit un plafonnement. Au moins, ça ne va pas en augmentant. Et on peut voir à la moyenne de notre région ici, on voit toujours en diminuant, ainsi pour Prescott Russell, ainsi pour SDNG. Donc, à la moyenne, mais quand même, à la moyenne, on est presque à 100. Juste pour vous remarquer que la rouge, c'est à 40 et plus. Donc, mais on approche. Donc, je suis contente qu'on voit ça. I'm very happy we're seeing this. We're also seeing a decrease in our positivity and also on our not this week. So that's good news. Donc, on voit aussi une diminution de notre positivité et au niveau de le taux de reproduction. Donc, je pense qu'on voit une semblance de diminution. Par contre, on est toujours dans le haut. We're still in the gray zone, and that's very important for us as we continue our measures moving forward. One of the things I just wanted to highlight again is these cases that we're seeing, with the exception of the outbreaks, obviously, these are the cases that one individual, again, at workplace or not having taken the precautions with a friend or a friend's house, is positive, comes home, and then that individual infects 5 or 6 other people. So again, we'll be putting it on our website, what I presented last week, a more updated version of those percentages. Again, most of our percentages are close contact, and the other bigger swath is cases in outbreak. But if you remove those, again, the majority of the cases are in close contact, and so that's important. And the close contact, most of those are home contacts, but they start in the community. So it doesn't matter where people are. It could be in a workplace. It could be in a friend's house. It could be wherever. If you do not take the precautions, what will happen is you or somebody else will get infected, and then that individual yourself will go home and infect others. And that's what's happening right now. That's what we're seeing. So regardless of where it's taking place, the gap is that people are not. And we know that about a third of the population are not taking the precautions when they get close with people outside of their household. And that's very important. Donc, je veux juste souligner que qu'est-ce qu'on voit encore, c'est une tendance qu'on voit, ça fait longtemps, on a reconnu. À peu près 2/3 de nos cas, si on enlève, bien sûr, les flambées, les cas sont vraiment acquis avec un contact d'approche. Et je peux vous dire que parmi ça, on a la plupart de ces cas sont transmis dans la maison, mais ils commencent soit au travail, soit à une autre place, un commerce ou à une maison où on est allé ensemble pour dîner, etc., avec des personnes qui ne sont pas de nos foyers et on n'a pas pris les précautions. Donc, une de ces personnes devient positive, infecte les autres. Ces personnes retournent à la maison. Si on a 4-5 personnes à la maison, voilà, les 5 personnes sont infectées parce que dans une circonstance où on demeure ensemble, on va voir le virus, il va se propager. Donc, n'importe où on reste, disons, n'importe où que vous êtes, soit dans un restaurant si c'est ouvert, ou au travail, où vous allez voir quelqu'un, où vous allez visiter quelqu'un dans l'avenir, ou visiter une proche que vous prenez soin, il faut toujours faire attention si la personne n'est pas dans votre foyer parce que c'est comme ça qu'on voit la transmission. So I just wanted to talk a bit about that now because, again, I wanted to bring that point home. I want to just talk a bit about the long-term care facilities. Again, we've had out of the congregate living, those outbreaks that we have, the minority have positive cases, but there have been tragic. And in Akwesasne, we've had 13 positive residents and 10 staff, and unfortunately, we've had 4 deaths there. Again, tragically. Donc, à Akwesasne, nous avons à la maison de longue durée, on a 13 patientes résidents qui sont positifs. 6 sont actifs et tragiquement 4 sont morts et nous avons 10 cas actifs, 10 positifs au niveau des employés. The long-term care home in Lancaster is also a tragic story. We have 42 out of the 47 residents that are positive. 4, as I said, the 4 are currently in hospital. 21 staff, 13 of which are active and 8 are resolved. And we've had tragically 9 deaths in that home. It's very tragic. We are working with a team from Ottawa for palliative care. We've got EMS are in there as needed. We've got a new doctor that's going in as well. Red Cross is in there daily. Our health unit is there on a daily basis, helping with infection control. And the Cornwall Hospital has sent staff in for support as well. Donc, tragiquement, on a 42 sur 47 patients résidents positifs aux maisons de longue durée à Lancaster et nous avons 21 employés, mais tragiquement 9 décès au niveau des résidents positifs. Bien sûr, on offre le support quotidien. On a l'équipe palliative d'Ottawa qui nous aide en collaboration avec l'ERLIS. On a un médecin qui rentre à chaque jour. Nos paramédics rentrent à chaque jour pour administrer les traitements si on a besoin. La Croix-Rouge est là aussi pour aider avec les soins des personnes et le bureau de santé est là de façon quotidienne pour aider avec le contrôle d'infection. Et l'hôpital Cornwall aussi, on a des employés qui rentrent pour rendre des services de support aussi. So this is a very tragic situation that's going on. The other home that has positive cases is Glenstore Dunlodge, and again, there were 7 positive residents and 7 positive staff, and unfortunately, we've had 1 death there. So far, the testing has continued, and so far, everything is negative. Although, other than that, what I've told you, we're working with the city and the home itself. Donc, au niveau une autre maison de longue durée qui a des résidents positifs, c'est celle-là de Cornwall, Glenstore Dunlodge, avec 7 résidents positifs. 7 employés, malheureusement et tragiquement une mortalité chez les résidents. On a continué nos tests jusqu'à date, tout autre négatif, et on continue à travailler avec l'administration pour aider. Nous avons un autre positif résident à Maxwell Manor. C'est un résident positif et 2 employés. Encore, on a déclaré en 30 décembre et nous travaillons avec la maison pour le supporter. Les autres que nous avons parmi les autres, on n'a pas d'autres résidents qui sont positifs. J'avais une question. Donc, that's it. So the other homes don't have any positive residents, except the other, which is it's not a long-term care facility nor a retirement home. We have right now a Riverview Manor in Cornwall that is a congregate group living with multiple age groups and multiple issues, some mental health issues and so on. That is an outbreak, and we've had 11 positive residents, including one in hospital, with 6 staff. And again, we're offering there's support. We're trying to help the support. The LHIN is involved in looking at getting support on site with the 6 staff off because they're positive, and EMS is working. The LHIN is working, and so that's how it goes there. Donc au niveau des autres, de Manoir Riverview, ce n'est pas une maison de longue durée, ce n'est pas une maison de retraite, c'est une maison de groupe qu'on a des personnes différents en âge, différentes conditions, incluant les personnes avec les problèmes de santé mentale. Nous avons 11 résidents qui sont positifs et nous avons 6 employés. En effet, nous travaillons avec l'ERLIS aussi pour essayer à fournir l'aide, incluant les paramédics pour aller supporter. I had a question about long-term care and what happens in outbreaks. And as you know, we've had tragically a few that have been positive and have had multiple deaths, again, tragically. And we've seen that across Ontario. The responsibility, the care of long-term care is under the Ministry of Long-Term Care in collaboration with the Ministry of Health. The public health's role is to assist in infection control and management of the outbreak and try to support as much as possible in that regard. And so when the homes are an outbreak, for example, like the tragic situation in Lancaster, there are daily meetings with all involved, with the LHIN and the administration, our team, and other caregivers that are there. Like, for example, we know that the Red Cross is there. All those teams daily to assess the needs, to assess what's going on. Things have again, there's no more positives. I mean, they've saturated most of them. So, but again, things seem to be stabilizing. But again, I just wanted to clarify the role that the health unit plays and how we work with other partners to look at support in that regard. J'avais une question pour voir c'est qui est en charge quand on a un flambée des maisons. En effet, les maisons de longue durée sont sous le ministère de longue durée et en partenariat avec le ministère de Santé. Le bureau de santé, vraiment, on est là pour déclarer, en effet, une occlusion, mais aussi pour supporter au niveau de prévention d'infection et de gestion du flambé aussi. On assiste à chaque jour avec des réunions, bien sûr, avec l'ARLIS, les hôpitaux, parce qu'on a l'hôpital qui est là maintenant, Croix-Rouge, paramédic, toute l'équipe ensemble à chaque jour pour voir, identifier le problème, discuter des stratégies, etc. Semble que ça soit pour la maison de longue durée à Lancaster, il semble que ça commence à stabiliser, mais c'est quand même une chose tragique qu'on voit. So that's what I wanted to talk about there. I just wanted to see what else. So, yeah, and I wanted to stress the importance of being careful, when you're outside of your home, because that's what happens. You get it there, you bring it back home, you multiply it. Donc, c'est encore juste souligner qu'il faut faire attention quand on travaille, on est hors de notre maison avec les personnes qui ne sont pas avec nous, de faire très attention, porter les masques, avoir les distances physiques, parce que autrement, c'est ça qu'on voit. C'est là qu'on l'acquisition de virus est faite, et à ce moment-là, on rentre dans la maison et on infecte tout le monde. I'm just going to go over some of the questions here. I've answered a few of them, actually, because they had to do with that. I have a question about the joint statements by Pfizer and Moderna saying their vaccines work best when 2 doses are administered within a set period. The government has approved longer wait period. And are we concerned, or what are we doing to rectify this? Well, one thing I forgot before I go there, vaccines. As of last week, including Akwesasne, we actually administered 1,200 vaccines. Dès samedi, nous avons administré 1,200 vaccins. And this week, we were told that we're getting another tray, but not next week. So we had one supply short, and so it might delay a bit of our continuing of our efforts. However, we are going to be well in advance. I know that we've now receiving double the shipments in February, and so we're going to be able to make up with it and finish off the first round of long-term care homes as well as retirement homes, high-risk retirement homes by February 15th, which is the deadline that they gave us. Donc, au niveau des vaccins, comme je l'ai dit tantôt, nous avons vacciné jusqu'à date 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 maisons de longue durée, et on commence dès cette semaine encore parce qu'on vient de recevoir une deuxième livraison du vaccin. Mais le problème arrive qu'on était supposé de recevoir une autre livraison de 1000 doses, 1100 doses. En effet, c'est 950, mais on pourrait avoir 1011 à peu près. Mais ils ont annulé à cause que Pfizer a diminué la production pour quelques semaines. Donc, ça va reprendre la semaine après. Et en février, on va avoir deux livraisons avec double de montant 2 fois. Donc, avec tout ça, on va être capable de finir de la première dose à toutes les maisons de longue durée, incluant les résidents, les travailleurs et les visiteurs essentiels, et aussi les maisons de retraite qui sont en haut risque dans notre région. So, with this, we'll be in a position to having vaccinated everybody by the early February, and then work on dose number 2 and so on, and moving to the next stage depending on the vaccine supply. Again, all these predictions are done based on Moderna and Pfizer supply. Hoping that we can get another vaccine approved shortly that will add to the numbers that we have. So this is a bit of a setback that we've had, again, because of Pfizer's decision in Belgium to decrease their production temporarily so they can increase their yearly output to double. So in the long run, it's a good thing, but in the short run, we will have that. But again, we will be we will be monitoring the situation very carefully, and our plan is to go with the first dose first. So, and then the second. Donc, nous allons surveiller. Si on a des surprises, très bien, on va avoir d'autres doses. L'important, c'est qu'on va le suivre, on va faire nos maisons de longue durée et les maisons de retraite dans l'échéance qu'on avait. Et donc, ça, c'est des bonnes nouvelles. C'est pas de bonnes nouvelles. En effet, je pense qu'on va le faire. Et en espérant qu'il va y avoir bientôt un troisième vaccin qui va être approuvé dans le Canada. So going back to the question now that was asked, that's why I forgot about the vaccines. And again, I want to say that even if we have the vaccines in place, again, our public health measures are still in place until way into the spring, summer, until we have enough people vaccinated. And so just want to keep that in mind. Donc, il faut dire aussi qu'on vaccine des gens, mais on n'a pas assez du monde pour dire, on n'a pas vacciné assez déjà encore pour dire, oui, on commence à diminuer les précautions. Au moins, on va avoir ça jusqu'au mai, juin, avant qu'on commence à diminuer les restrictions. Et ça dépend combien de personnes on vaccine. So going back to this one here, so the question is, what are you going to do about the second dose? I can tell you that, vaccines that we've seen, there are some timelines. There's a give and take in them. The product monograph is there as a guidance, and strictly speaking, for medication, sometimes we have leeway of going what's called off-label. But what we're trying to do now is we're working with that number. I'm also a microbiologist, so I believe that delaying a bit won't make that much of a difference because I understand understanding the immunology and all that. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to work within that window and try to get the dosages done as close as possible to the maximum, to the date that the pharmaceutical companies have given. I have another one here talking about, Philip asks about a restaurant where their individuals are positive, and the question is high-risk exposure. What we're going to be doing, we do not declare individual outbreaks of workplaces. What we're going to be doing moving forward is we're going to be listing how many outbreaks in workplaces we have, but we're not going to be listing the individual ones. If there is, and in this situation, there was not, but if there is a potential exposure to the public, that we will go public and we'll have press releases and so on. We've done it a few times. But for the most part, what we're seeing, again, is that individuals who are in workplaces, be it a restaurant or anything else, they're working in the back, everything is fine, it's takeout, they have all kinds of precautions, but one of them gets it and another person gets it, but it's really at the workplace they get it, and they don't expose the public. So in that situation, and I got another question about closure. We do not close them down unless we believe there's a public health hazard, but very often if several people are working there and they are operating it and they can't operate otherwise, they will close down themselves. So for the most part, a lot of these businesses that close down is because there's been enough people that have been positive or have to be isolated because they've been in contact that they can't operate the business. Obviously, they do deep cleaning and so on, but again, we ascertain case by case of all these workplaces whether or not the public has been exposed. And in these situations, and there's a couple of other outbreaks that we've had in workplaces over the last month or so that we have closed on their own, but it's not because we believe there's a public health threat. It was because the operators wanted to close it down because they didn't have enough staff and so on. So that's not our decision. However, if we do deem it a health hazard, we can close it, but that has not happened. And so so TVC 22 asks about Roger Seguin. Roger Seguin is next on our list to be vaccinated this week. We do have them in place. Let's see what else I got here. So it's just how many small businesses have we compelled to shut down for 2 weeks? We have not at this point, like I said, because we don't believe that it was necessary. And that's it for now. I'm going to open it up to some questions, Jenna.
Merci, thank you. Our first question comes from Nation Valley News. Please go ahead.
Hi, Doctor.
Hi.
I guess I'll ask again. Maybe there's more details on that man that unfortunately passed away. I believe he was 61 years old. He might have been the only working aged person that has unfortunately passed away from COVID-19 in the region.
Yeah, we believe it was related to a workplace outbreak, and we're still investigating that right now. I'd like to get more information. I will be making a statement about that as soon as I get more information.
Have there been implications for that workplace? This is the first workplace where somebody died as a result of getting COVID.
And we're working on the source and who was first, who was the index case, and so on. So I will have more. Yes, we are working. We're with the Ministry of Labor as well to go in and check that out. And so I will have more details on that once I have the complete picture.
Thank you, Doctor.
You're welcome.
Next question, James Morgan, The Review. Please go ahead.
My question today is about Heritage Lodge in Van Cleek Hill. Can you tell me?
Yeah. Sorry, I saw that. I had actually put a note to answer it when I was.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks. I understand.
Yeah, I'll just sec. I got it here. Yeah. From my understanding, there was one staff that was positive there. Just a second. Let me just get. I just wanted to confirm it with you. I think it's one Heritage Lodge, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's one positive staff. Again, it's one of those routine things that we do. No residents, and we're doing the routine testing and so on.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Okay.
For those joining by phone have questions, press star 6 to unmute. Ceux qui se joignent par téléphone ont-ils des questions? Appuyez les touches étoile 6 pour désactiver le mode silencieux. Seems as though those are all the questions for today, Dr. Paul.
Thank you. Merci tout le monde. Bye-bye.